Welcome to the Cavern of Cursed Tears adventure overview. I'm Quartermaster Tyler, and this adventure is published by Limithron and designed for Pirate Borg RPG. Obviously, I'm about to give a lot of spoilers for this adventure, so if you're a potential player, maybe go check out these videos instead. In this video, I'm going to give an overview of the adventure, add a few tips for running the caves, the Weaver, and the Temple, and also talk about how to drop this into your existing campaign. I'll also toss in a few quick tips about how to run this as a one-shot for convention or game store play. Finally, you can also watch a 2-hour actual play of me running this adventure right here on our YouTube. If you find this information useful, please tell me down in the comments what was helpful and what you'd like to see more of. I really want to make these videos as helpful to you as I can, so please let me know. Introduction. The Cavern of Cursed Tears is a cave exploration and short temple crawl adventure that should only take 1 or 2 sessions as written. It's a trifold pamphlet adventure with artwork, overview, and bestiary on the outside, and the adventure locations on the inside. Good for any level player characters, as you can scale the challenges between room to room. In order to maximize the helpfulness of this video, I'm assuming that you've read the adventure. So if you haven't, you can get it over on our Patreon or on limithron.com. There's also a Roll20 and Foundry VTT module available for it. It's also worth noting that Limithron has published not 1 but 2 battle maps specifically for this adventure. They aren't required by any means, but they're pretty darn cool. Overview. After arriving at a sinkhole entrance, players have to make their way through the cave, either taking the mud-strewn route or the underwater route. They should have access to waterproof lanterns from an NPC. During this, they should encounter some floating spirit skulls that foreshadow what's to come, and possibly run into Chan, a monstrous necrotic crocodile. They then make it to the Sanctum entrance, which can share a lot of great backstories via a mural. And here they'll run into some other pirate explorers if they haven't already, and they can be allies or competition. From there they make their way down to the cavern itself, which is a challenge. And then they have this really cool interaction or fight with the Weaver, who lingers near the base of the massive ziggurat. It's an ancient being who guards and catalogs the spiritual memories of the dead. There they can travel up the ziggurat and explore the tomb inside, encountering 2 water spirits there. Here they can unlock some ancient arcane secrets, and they have plenty of glyphs and murals to investigate, and lots of treasure to be found. Alright, now that you get the basic structure, let's dive deeper into some tips on how to make this flow smoothly. It's worth saying it's not a hard adventure to run. Just make sure you understand the Weaver well, and use the random encounter tables as you like. And have fun! Chan. Getting started, and adventure hooks. So there are countless ways you can incorporate this adventure into your campaign. It's easy to have any treasure map lead to this location, come across an old pirate who knows the tale, or have your players just stumble upon it without knowing much. On the back, there are 4 excellent adventure hooks you can use, but I personally like option number 1. Having an old sailor, Clagworth, tell the players about the location and warn them that Sir Edmund Barrington is trying to get there before them, puts a little fire under them. Here are some tips for starting off if you don't already have a natural place to drop this location into your campaign. Use the treasure map generator in Pirate Borg to give the players a fun map to lead them to this location. It would be easy to seed that treasure map at the end of another adventure like Buried in the Bahamas to link these 2 adventures together. You could use the Uncharted Island generator in the core book to give some life to the island that they land on. For some fun challenges or a little flavor, you could also roll a couple of times on the Jungle Encounter table found in the Curse of Skeleton Point adventure. If with Sir Edmund Barrington the NPC, he'll supply the group with 1 waterproof lantern. If your group isn't working with that NPC, maybe have them find this lantern along the route on a dead explorer. Traveling through caves. The players basically have 2 choices here that they can switch back and forth from. Stay up in the caves or go underwater and try and swim around some of the challenges. I won't go through every room and every challenge, but here's a couple of tips. Each room has a 2 in 6 chance of a random encounter. But the ones I find most fun for this adventure are having spirit skulls show up. This makes the players ask, why the heck are these things here? Bonus, if anyone touches them, you could have a very brief imprint of who the soul used to be, and it flashed before their eyes. The other really evocative encounter is Chan, the Lord of the Grotto. You could really play up the fact that the spirit skulls are hovering around, chanting his name whenever he's nearby. Running back and forth between rooms to get away from him, or tricking him away from his nest could all be fun interactions besides just straight combat. His sea chest collection might be very, very heavy and hard to move, making it difficult to do quietly. Play up the sound he makes when eating something too. Chan, 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 chan. Rapid fire tips for the caves. Don't roll to check for traps. Have the players describe how they are checking. If they breathe in the spores from the mushrooms, play up that they're seeing lights, hallucinating, that they have glowing bones. When running into Captain Silverkey and whoever she is with, remember that she cares more about money than anything else, so it doesn't need to be a fight with some clever role-playing. Her extra pirate crew could be backup PCs, especially if anybody was eaten by John. The Sanctum mural can be a great source of backstory if the players stop to read it or examine the mural. I wouldn't hide this behind a skill check, just whether or not they put in the time and effort to read it. Reward creative solutions to unlock the stairs down to the cavern. For example, if they spend time writing out the glyphs and rearranging them, or someone uses a spell to ask the dead how to do it. The cavern. Now that they made it through all the caves and figured out how to go down into the cavern, it may be a good time to stop for a short rest, or break up the session into 2 depending on how long it took to get here in the first place. The Weaver. I personally think the Weaver is the coolest part of this whole adventure. He's an ancient being who guards those who have been laid to rest here. He communes with each soul, turns them into an eerie glowing tear that floats around like a dragonfly. And then, when he's ready, he inscribes that soul into his robe in the form of a glyph. The room is filled with millions of these floating tears, and his robe is long and covered with thousands of these glowing glyphs. I think this is a great opportunity to also share backstory here. If people move through, touching and interacting with the tears, I recommend having them flash that person's life. You could show them as a worker 1,000 years ago, building this ziggurat, installation of the turtle skull above, or rituals to it, flashes of them talking to a kraken. Or priests who were in charge of laying the royalties here to rest, foreshadowing the last room inside the ziggurat. There's really no limit on what you could show or how to show it. It's all just exposition and awesome flavor. Thought. Souls that were put here would only have memories up to the moment of their death. So whatever was the final end to this society is likely not known by these souls. If the players are respectful and talk to the Weaver, he could willingly share these stories with them, point to the glyphs and cast them off into the player's mind to tell them the story of what happened to these people. That is one of his main purposes after all. His other, of course, is to protect these souls and the temple from grave robbers. So as soon as any tears or spirit skulls are attacked, or he witnesses them stealing valuables, he will attack. The temple. Play up the loud aspect of the waterfalls here. Pouring water that's echoing off stone walls would be almost deafening. Magic might be extra potent or crazy at this location. If anyone dies here, I highly recommend using the Ghost Haunted Soul option to have their soul thrust into a nearby NPC instead of killing them. Play it off like this location was specifically built to hold souls, so why not yours? Interacting with the sea turtle skull is really cool. If you fail twice, the waterfall turns to blood, and the battle map version of this location has a blood option. Inside the chamber is where the king and queen water spirits are. It's up to you if you want them to be able to speak or not, but I'd play it that they are willing to guide the players through the glyphs and help them tell their story if treated with respect. The final tomb has the knowledge that they use to create the Weaver. I think that this is what Barrington is most interested in. Exiting. Once they made it all the way through the tomb, they need to get back out again. Here's a list of some fun ideas. If they haven't already dealt with Captain Silverkey, now could be a good time for her to confront them and want her cut. If you need another NPC to show up, Father Lancunzia, an Inquisitor priest, could arrive with backup. If the players didn't unlock the skull staircase to get down to the cavern, one of the memories that they gained from the tomb could tell them how it was built, and therefore how to open it. Alternatively, you could easily hand-wave the entire exiting process to allow for a more cinematic storytelling option. Cut back to the players at their ship or in a tavern spending what treasure or selling what knowledge they've gained. Roll on the carousing table. As mentioned in the adventure, you could extend this by turning the glyphs into a map of the cenotes that lead to all kinds of places. Spirit realms, underground cities, maybe a map to the temple or lake of the Nameless One found in the Pirate Borg core rulebook. Could also be a map to the sunken city of Cathagan. Maybe an etching that the players could copy and then be handed the physical map for that adventure. conventions, and one-shots. Finally, if you're running this as just a one-shot, here's what I recommend changing. Start at the mouth of the cave as fast as possible. Maybe the players are literally sliding down ropes into the first room as they describe their pirates and what they look like. Keep the random encounters and combats to a minimum. Maybe even just one. Have a floating skull come through, and if the players are up for it, bring in Chan. They can even level up after dealing with it, or go back for more crewmates, aka they need new characters. Try to get down into the Cavern by the halfway mark in the session, so about 70 to 90 minutes in. You want plenty of time to interact with the Weaver and allow a lot of storytelling to happen there. If you're running low on time, you can always trigger the blood waterfall and have the cavern start to shake, rocks falling from the ceiling. Then let the players rush out with whatever they've gathered so far. Make sure to end on a high note. Remember, you can watch me run this adventure in just 2 hours right here on YouTube. This adventure and battle maps are available at limithron.com, or you can get them over on our Patreon, which is just a few bucks, and it gets you access to everything that Limithron's ever released on Patreon. How do you plan on using the Cavern of Cursed Tears? Let us know in our Discord, and if you need more advice on how to run a one-shot, check out my video here. Happy sailing!